not only do we not use employees, but we push them towards like a different side of safety. We start to train them to understand what's important to the management by what we measure. So what I mean is they learn what's important to pass the test rather than actually to be used to solve the problem. So they learn that they just have to tick all the boxes on the point of work risk assessment, on the start or shift brief, on these kind of things. And then they actually start to believe that themselves that also that's then what is keeping them safe, because it's what management wants. And there's this big hoodwink going on sort of thing of this unsaid stuff of what gets measured as keeping us safe, where actually that's not even the behaviors that we were expected to have. So that's kind of one point there. But we also, so pick up on John's point about employing competent people, we definitely do employ competent people, but there's this, and linking to Dawn saying about them and us, there's this belief from management and the leaders that many of them are incapable. Now, whether that's because there's a gap and they don't actually, there's a dehumanization because they just become a stat, and they're so detached, but they tend not to see them, and therefore they don't trust them. And you can see examples of this right round sites, not just from the paperwork that gets audited about the incessant, need for records to cover one's arse, but also the putting of this really gets my goat, and some have heard me say it before, the putting of a green flashing light on a dumper to prove to everybody else that the worker is not capable of fastening his seatbelt. Therefore, you piss the worker off, so he doesn't fasten his seatbelt because he wants to get one over on you. If we were doing that properly, and we've done it in other areas, of course, we would stick the green flashing light in his cab, and it would stay on until to remind him that he hadn't put his seatbelt on and needed to put his seatbelt on, just like it does in a car. And yet we create these systems that prove that we don't trust the worker and therefore don't use them. And then this battle ensues against manager and worker, site and office and sites, and actually it just perpetuates this problem, and we don't use the guys to their best of their ability.